Stop, right now. Whatever you are doing, stop. I need you to put down whatever is in your hands, or set your phone somewhere stable. Because what I am about to tell you is not something you want to half hear while you are doing something else. This is not background content. This is a message. And it is specifically for you. If there are other people around you right now, I need you to create a little distance from them. Step away if you can, because this message is not for everyone in the room. It is for you. Take a breath, a real one, not a quick one. Breathe in slowly and let it go. Something is happening right now, not tomorrow, not next month, not when things finally calm down. Right now, in your life. And there is a very real chance that you have been misreading what it is. Not because you are not paying attention, but because no one has told you how to read it. Before I go any further, I want to be honest with you about something. I hear the Spirit placing something on my heart for someone watching this, and what I feel being said is this: I have not forgotten you. What looks like silence on my end is not silence. What looks like nothing happening is preparation, and the preparation is closer to complete than you know. Stay with me through this entire video, because I want to tell you right now, if you usually scroll away before the end, I am asking you to stay today. In part 2, I am going to share the thing I feel most strongly about, a revelation about why all of this is happening at this specific moment in your life, not last year, not 2 years from now, but now. I am also going to share something I found from a neuroscience study out of Princeton that I believe connects directly to why some people in your season begin to receive what God is sending and others unknowingly block it. I will explain all of that, but first I need to talk about what is actually happening to you right now. You are tired, and I do not mean the kind of tired that a good night of sleep fixes. I mean the kind of tired that lives deeper than that. The kind where you wake up and you already feel the weight of the day before you have even moved. The kind where you carry something you cannot quite name and you cannot quite put down. You are in a season that feels like the in-between, not where you used to be, not yet where you know you are going. Just here, waiting. And it has been longer than you expected. I want to name a few things that might be happening in your body and your life right now. I want you to notice, quietly, which ones feel true for you. The first one is a fatigue that does not fully make sense. You could sleep 8 hours and still feel it in your bones when you open your eyes. It is not a medical issue. It is not laziness. Something is shifting at a level beneath your conscious thought, and your physical body is carrying the weight of that shift before your mind even understands what the shift is. That is not weakness. That is sensitivity. Your body is processing something that your mind has not yet fully received. The second thing that might be happening is that your emotions have been moving in waves without a clear reason. Peace, then sadness, then a sudden flash of hope, then back to quiet exhaustion, no obvious trigger, no clean explanation. And maybe you have quietly wondered if something is wrong with you because of how unpredictable it has all felt inside. Nothing is wrong with you. You are not becoming unstable. You are becoming aware of things that matter more deeply than you used to let yourself feel. The third thing, and this one is the one most people miss, is that certain people, certain places, certain conversations that used to feel completely normal now feel draining, maybe even suffocating. You find yourself pulling back from environments you used to be comfortable in, and you cannot fully explain why. That is not you becoming cold. That is not you becoming difficult. That is your spirit protecting the energy it already knows you are going to need. When something significant is being prepared for you, your inner discernment starts making room before your mind catches up. And the fourth thing, your dreams have been different lately. More vivid, more directional. You may not remember the details, but you wake up with the sense that something was being communicated in the night. Something is speaking to you in the only quiet you have left, the quiet of sleep. If that is happening for you, it is not random. Here is what I want you to understand right now. You are not falling apart. You are not running out of time. You are not being passed over. These are not signs of someone who is losing ground. These are signs of someone who is being moved. And there is a very specific difference between the two. Now let me tell you the first of 3 things I believe God is doing in your life right now, because this one changes everything about how you see the season you are in. Most people who are in the middle of a hard, quiet, slow season believe one of 2 things. Either they believe they are being punished, or they believe they are being forgotten. And I understand why those are the first places the mind goes. When nothing seems to be moving, when prayers feel like they are hitting the ceiling, when time keeps passing without a clear sign, those are the thoughts that show up. But here is the first revelation I want to give you today. What you are in right now has a name, and the name is not delay. The name is not punishment. The name is formation. Every person in Scripture who was eventually used for something real went through a period of hiddenness first. Not a short one, not a comfortable one. Moses spent 40 years in the desert before the burning bush appeared. Joseph spent years in a pit and then in a prison before the palace door ever opened. David was anointed as king when he was still a teenager and then spent years running for his life in the wilderness before he ever sat on the throne. The formation always came before the function, always, without exception. And in your formation right now, 3 things are being built inside you that could not have been built any other way. The first thing is authority. Real authority, the kind that people feel when you walk into a room, does not come from a title or a position. It does not come from studying the right material or having the right background. It comes from having lived through something that qualified you to speak. You cannot guide someone through a valley you have never walked yourself. The valley you are in right now is writing into your voice a kind of authority that no shortcut could ever produce. The second thing is compassion. The people who will need you on the other side of this season do not need someone polished. They do not need someone who has every answer perfectly prepared. They need someone who understands. Someone who does not flinch when they say, "I am exhausted, and I do not know how much longer I can hold on." You are learning how to understand that from the inside out, and that is irreplaceable. The third thing, and this might be the most important one for what is coming, is discernment. When the doors start to open, not every door is going to be the right door. Not every opportunity that looks good is going to be the one for you. Discernment, the ability to know the difference between what is truly for you and what is just available, is being sharpened right now, in the quiet, in the waiting. In the moments where you choose to trust what you cannot fully see, you are not wasting time. You are being prepared. And that matters because what is coming for you is going to require everything that is being formed in you right now. But here is the second thing I believe God is doing right now. And this one is going to challenge something that most people in your season quietly believe. Many people carry this belief, even if they have never said it out loud. The belief that God is waiting for them to be more ready before He moves. That if they could just get their faith stronger, their mindset cleaner, their life more together, then something would finally shift. That is not how this works. God is not waiting for you to become ready. He is moving right now while you feel the least ready you have ever felt. And that is not accidental. That is by design. Because if you felt completely strong and capable and prepared when the breakthrough came, you might believe even just a little that your strength made it happen. The feeling of not being ready is what ensures that when it arrives, you know beyond any doubt that it came from somewhere beyond you. Right now, as you are watching this, something is happening that your eyes have not fully seen yet. Right now, relationships that were never meant to stay are completing their ending. Right now, doors that were never meant for you are being quietly closed so that you will stop standing in front of them and turn around to find the one that was always yours. Right now, what looked like a setback in your story is being reclassified. The ceiling you ran into was not the end of your climb, it was the floor of the next level. Right now, The version of you who will step into what is next is being finished, not started, finished. You are not at the beginning of something. You are at the end of the preparation. And I need to tell you about a third revelation. This is the one I feel most strongly about sharing today. It is the thing most people in your exact season get completely wrong, and that misunderstanding has real consequences for what they are able to receive. But before I get there, something came across my research as I was preparing this message, and it has been sitting with me in a way I cannot ignore. I was looking into why people in seasons of spiritual formation so often describe a kind of mental fog, a heaviness in their thinking that does not match what is happening in their lives on paper. And I found a study from Princeton about what neuroscientists call the inner genius switch, a specific frequency in the brain that is directly connected to intuition, to clarity, and to the ability to receive what I can only describe as divine direction. I want to come back to that later because I believe it connects directly to everything we are covering today. So stay with me. Here is what I need you to hold on to as we go into part 2. The third revelation is waiting for you there. It is the most specific thing I am going to share, not a general encouragement, but a real and clear understanding of what is happening in your life and what it means for where you go from here. Beyond that, the full picture of why all of this is happening at this specific moment this season, this year is coming. And the Princeton research about the inner genius switch, what it is, what it actually does, and why I believe it is directly relevant to someone in your season, I will explain all of it. You did not stumble onto this video. That is the first thing you need to know. The second thing, part 2, is waiting for you. Welcome back. If you made it here, I want you to understand something before I say anything else. The fact that you are still here is not a small thing. Most people move on before the message is complete. You stayed. And, in my experience, the people who stay for something like this, it is usually because something inside them already knows that what they are about to hear is meant for them. So let me pick up exactly where we left off. In part 1, I shared 2 things that I believe God is doing in your life right now. The first, what you are in is not punishment, and it is not delay. It is formation. Authority, compassion, and discernment are being written into you in this season in a way that could not have happened any other way. The second, God is not waiting for you to become ready before He moves. He is already moving. Right now, things are shifting at a level your eyes have not fully landed on yet. But there is a third revelation, and this is the one I told you I needed you to hear most. This is where most people in your exact season get it wrong, and the misunderstanding costs them more than they realize. Here is what most people believe when they are in a season like the one you are in. They believe God is holding them back, like there is a force, maybe even a loving one, standing between them and where they are supposed to be, saying, "Not yet." And so, they push, they strive, they question, they try to find the thing that will finally make something shift. But here is the third revelation, and I want you to let this land fully before you move past it. You are not being held back. You are being held. There is a difference between those 2 things, and it changes everything. Held back means something is blocking you. It implies resistance. It suggests that somewhere along the way you have not been enough, done enough, or believed enough. Held means something entirely different. It means you are in the hands of someone who knows the exact right moment to release you, and they are not letting go until that moment arrives. What felt like God looking away from your situation was actually God looking more closely than He ever has before. What felt like your prayers bouncing back unanswered was actually something being constructed in the room above, built from every word you spoke in the dark when you had no evidence that anything was listening. What felt like running out of time is actually time being restructured around your assignment, because what you are being sent into is too specific and too important to be released off schedule. What felt like silence was strategy. What felt like emptiness was actually an embrace so close that you mistook it for being alone. You were never being held back. You have been held the whole time, and here is what that means for how you move forward from today. You do not need to force anything. You do not need to manufacture something or push a door open that is not ready to open. What is actually being asked of you right now, the real invitation of this season, is to begin carrying yourself like someone who already knows that what was promised is coming. Not performing certainty you do not have, not pretending, but choosing to align your daily posture, your daily choices, your daily identity with the person you are already being formed into even before your circumstances catch up. That shift from striving to receiving, from forcing to trusting, is not passive. It is one of the most active and courageous things a human being can do. Now, this is where everything comes together. The full picture of why all of this is happening at this specific moment, this season, this year, right now. I want you to think about the timing of where you are, not accidentally, intentionally. This is a season of resurrection, not just on a calendar, not just as a religious tradition, but as a spiritual pattern that runs through every story of transformation that has ever been told. Things that were buried are not meant to stay buried. Things that were shut down are not meant to stay shut down. The pattern of burial, then waiting, then rising, it is not just theology. It is the pattern of every single person who has ever walked through a season like the one you are in and come out the other side into something real. And I want to say this clearly, and I want you to hear it fully. I believe you are at the edge of your rising. Here is the mega revelation, and I am not going to dress it up. I am just going to say it. You were not made for the life you have been living in this waiting season. You were made for the life that is being activated right now, today, in this moment. And the activation is not something that is going to happen to you someday when everything lines up. It is happening inside you right now in ways that are invisible until the moment they become suddenly and undeniably visible. The stirring you have felt in your chest when everything goes quiet. The inexplicable sense that something is close even when nothing around you confirms it. The feeling that you are meant for something more, not just bigger in a vague way, but more aligned, more true, more specifically yours. That is not wishful thinking. That is not your imagination looking for comfort. That is the signal of someone whose activation has already begun. And I hear the Father saying this, and I want you to receive it exactly where you are right now. I did not bring you through what you survived to leave you here. The weight you felt in your bones, the nights you could not explain, the silence that stretched longer than you expected, I was in every one of them. That stirring you felt and could not name, that was me. That has always been me. And I am not done. I am nowhere near done. What I have started in you, I will complete. That is not a coincidence that you heard those words today. That is not random. That is not an accident. Now, I want to come back to something I mentioned in part 1, the Princeton research, the inner genius switch. Because I promised I would explain what it is and why I believe it matters for someone in your exact season, there is a brainwave frequency called gamma. Neuroscientists who have studied it at institutions like MIT, Stanford, and Princeton describe it as the frequency the brain operates at during its highest states of clarity, intuition, and creative flow, the experience of everything just clicking, of the right answer arriving naturally, of decisions being made with a kind of ease that does not feel like effort. And here is what I found that I cannot stop thinking about. You were born with strong gamma activity. All chosen ones are. It is why, as a child, you felt things more deeply than other kids around you. It is why you learned things quickly, why you had intuitions that surprised the adults in your life, why you sensed things before they happened. Neuroscience has a name for it, and God has a name for it too. They are both pointing at the same thing. But then something happened, and it was not your fault. Starting around age 7, the modern world, the rigid education systems, the overscheduling, the noise, the constant demands, begins to suppress gamma activity. Scientists call it the decline effect, and over years that frequency dims, not destroyed, not gone, but dormant, sleeping. And here is why this matters for where you are right now. When God is moving, when a spiritual activation is underway, when something is being released into your life, your mind needs to be open to receive it. A brain running at a suppressed frequency, heavy and fogged, will miss signals it was built to catch. Not because the signal is not being sent, because the receiver is not fully tuned. I know someone who was in the exact place you are in. A woman, 38 years old, who had been through meditation and spiritual retreats and every kind of practice that people recommend. She believed, but she could not feel the connection she was looking for. It was always slightly out of reach, like a signal that kept breaking up. She eventually tried something called the Genius Song, a 7-minute audio track developed by a neuroscientist named Dr. Robert Lake, built specifically to reactivate gamma wave activity through a technology called brain entrainment. She did not expect much. She said she bought it because she had nothing left to lose. 2 weeks later, she used one word to describe what had shifted in her life: synchronicities. She said it was like the universe began speaking to her in a language she could finally understand. Now I know what you might be thinking. You have tried things before. Things that promised to shift something and did not deliver. I hear that completely. But I want you to understand why this is different at the mechanism level. Meditation, and there is nothing wrong with meditation, can take months or even years for the brain to genuinely synchronize to gamma frequency. Brain entrainment works with the biology your brain already has. It does not ask your brain to do something new. It reminds it of what it already knows how to do in 7 minutes. Not because it is magic, because the technology works. To access gamma activation the traditional clinical way through biofeedback therapy would cost you $300 per session. The home equipment costs $7,000. Dr. Robert Lake compressed that entire technology into a 7-minute audio file you can listen to anywhere with a pair of headphones. The original price is $49. But because you are watching this specific video, there is a viewer price of $39, and that price does not exist anywhere else. Not on Amazon, not on any streaming platform, nowhere. With it, you also receive 4 additional resources at no extra cost: a second audio track designed for focus and confidence, a guided visualization for 4 areas of life, a classic book that directly inspired one of the most well-known films ever made about the power of the mind, and a practical daily infographic. All of it covered by a 100% money-back guarantee with no conditions and no limit on how many times you use it first. The only way to access the real product with the actual brain entrainment technology embedded in it and all 4 bonuses, and the guarantee, is through the link I have placed in the description below and in the pinned comment of this video. There are imitation products using the same name that do not carry the real frequency technology. Please do not search for this anywhere else. If something about what I have shared today resonates with you, if any of this feels like it is speaking to exactly where you are, I have placed the only real link in the timer description and the pinned comment. That is the only place. The person you are in the process of becoming already made this decision, not because they were certain about the outcome, but because they understood that the right moment never feels perfectly ready. It just feels true. Let me bring everything together before I release you. You came into this video carrying a weight, a kind of tiredness that lives deeper than exhaustion, a waiting season that has stretched longer than expected, a quiet, persistent question beneath everything about whether something is still happening, whether you are still seen, still known, still on a path that means something real. Here is what I want you to leave with. What you are in is formation. Authority is being written into you. Compassion is being deepened in you in ways that cannot be manufactured. Discernment is being sharpened, and you are not being held back. You are being held by hands that have not lost the timing and will not lose yours. The activation is happening, not someday. Now, and I hear the Father saying one final thing, and I want you to receive this fully before this ends. Go. Not when you feel ready, because the readiness you have been waiting to feel, I have already placed inside you. You have been carrying it the entire time. You did not know it was there, but it was. You are not stepping into what is next alone. You never have been, and what I have called you toward you are already walking toward it. Keep going. May you leave this video lighter than you came. May the clarity you have been looking for begin to settle in your spirit today, not as something you have to achieve, but as something you allow to land. May the relationships meant for your next season find their way to you with an ease that surprises you. May the courage to receive, not just to believe, but to actually receive, be the specific gift of this season for you. You are chosen. You are commissioned. You are sent. This is not a coincidence that you heard this today. This is not random that this reached you. This is not an accident that you stayed until the very end. Go forward.